Welcome back to the studio, friends. I thought I would do something fun and simple today, and with all of this wine on my table, may look like I'm going to be having a party. But that's not exactly what's going on here. What I thought is that I could show you a simple gift that includes a little bit of green recycling. What else do they call that? Upmarketing? Upscaling? Anyway, what I'm going to do today is take the legs of some old denim jeans. Now I suppose you could use khakis or some other kind of jeans, pants, but the jeans work really good. They are really durable, and that thick cotton that is used in the denim jeans works really good as an insulator as well. As you well know, when you want to stay warm, you wear jeans, and if it's too hot, you don't wear jeans. So some of you may be wondering, did I cut the legs off of my jeans? The answer is no. Somebody gave me these legs, and it's not very often that people give me legs. What we have here is approximately 20 inches cut off of the bottom of a pair of jeans. Now, 20 inches seems to be about the perfect height to give you a little bit of space to wrap your wine bottle when we're finished. This pair of jeans is right side out, and you can see it's a little bit more faded. And this particular pair here is inside out. And I will bring you in a little bit closer so you can see the process. But what we have is a seam about a ½ inch from the bottom of the cut. So let me grab the camera and pull you in. You can see here we have a sewing line about a ½ inch up from our cut line on the jeans. You can see the jeans are a little bit frayed. If you wanted to, you could do a double stitch. And also, I think you probably could even do a small stitch at an angle on both of the sides if you wanted to put a little placket like women have at the bottom of a purse. I don't know that that's critical, but you could do that. I'm not going to show you this sewing because it's simply a straight line across the bottom. But I will show you what it looks like when we turn it inside out. So you can see basically what we have is a nice long skinny bag that we have made out of a pair of pant legs. And I'm going to use that to make a gift wine bottle. And then we could just put a ribbon around top. But to go ahead and embellish that a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and use these pre-fused and laser cut applique shapes. These are made out of batik fabric. It's called Bohemian Chic, and we have a few different types of these small items. There are snowflakes, which you could use for winter. There are the flowers. I believe there's some hearts. So there's a variety of things that you could use on here. Also, any of the embellishments that we've used for the stockings would probably work very well on here, like Santa's Little Helpers or the Little Helpers, or the holly leaf embellishment. So there's a wide variety of things that you could do, and this is a really fast gift. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull out my laser cut and pre-fused applique shapes. And these really don't need a blueprint or a map or a pattern because the shapes are so simple. So what you might want to do, I'm going to put this pair of jeans aside because it's not sewn, and I may save that to do another video later. So I'm going to get these pieces set out and I'll show you how I get them ironed in place. As you can see, we have laid out, we being the royal we, have laid out the different flower components. All of the purple and gold are the same fabric, so there wasn't a lot of choosing between those. But it really is going to come down to just finding a pattern that is pleasing for the applique. And we have a photo of this project on the Applique Elementz website. It's one of the top banners, and I will include that in the ending of this video. But you could look at that if you wanted for inspiration. So these are created by first, in the manufacturing process, they fuse Steam 2 on the backing of wide sheets of fabric. And then they have a computer program that accurately has these shapes printed in the system. And then they use a laser cutter and cut out these shapes. So they're really sharp. And all you have to do then is peel, place, and press. So the paper backing generally comes off very simply. I'm fidgeting because I have big thumbs, but you can see the paper peels off and there's a sticky substance on the back of the fabric. That's the Steam 2. And once we completely peel this off, we could go ahead and position our pieces in place. The nice thing is that they're repositionable. They aren't fused until we heat them with the iron. Also, we will use steam in the way of a spritz bottle, in my case, because I don't keep water in my iron. So I'm going to go ahead and peel some of these off and position them where they might look pretty on the bag. Now keep in mind that once you get up to a certain point, we're going to be cinching that up with the ribbon, so we may want to keep the pieces a little bit down from that part of the bag. If we're going to put something up here, I would put one of the smaller pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of these out, and I'm going to position them and see if I can get them where I like them or the way it looks similar to the website. I took this picture of the computer screen of the bottle, and then I positioned these fairly in a similar pattern the way they were on the website. One thing I will say about the Urban Elementz website, which I'm sure is true of most websites, and that is they appear, look, I got a little ant. They appear differently on your computer screen or your tablet than they would on a desktop computer. I've had people say that they can't filter for designers or something when looking for a specific designer's quilting patterns, and that may be true on your phone, but if you go to the website, you can very easily filter on the left-hand side of the screen for different things like a designer. Now this one has the paper backing peeled off of it, and I'm just going to continue putting these components in place. And the nice thing about the placement of these circles is I'm really not shooting for perfection as far as getting them dead center. In fact, I always think they look a little cuter when they're a little cockeyed. So I will continue doing that. And I hope you could see that I'm having absolutely no trouble peeling these pieces off. Sometimes it's a matter of my thumbs not being very nimble, but as far as the paper peeling off, it peels off very nicely. If you ever have a piece where you can see that the fusible isn't adhered to the back of the fabric, you can always put the paper backing back in place and hit it with the iron. And you would iron it just the way you would if you were fusing it onto your fabric. You don't need to use the steam though. And let that piece of paper cool for a few seconds so that the fusible returns to its solid state. and then you can peel the paper backing off. This one's giving me a little bit of a fit, so I'll use a pen. On the back, you'll have this paper backing. If you use the sharp head of a pen or a seam ripper or a awl, AWL, it gives you something to bend and to grab a hold of. And there are different sizes of these purple backings, but also you could play with those to give you fun looks for the project. Some people also like to score the paper on the little circles just to make sure that they aren't stressing the edge out of the shape. I put that one a little too close to the edge. I didn't like it. I also am kind of paying attention to how I want which flowers to be in the back, and those I'll put in first, and then which ones I want to overlap it. This would also be one of those projects if you were having a girls' night, bridal shower, some kind of a little anniversary party. That one's too big. I'm gonna have to switch it out, I think. This would be a fun project that you could do. You could have all the ladies bring in a pair of jeans, or all your daughter-in-laws bring in an old pair of jeans, and have some different little laser cut pieces already on hand, and go ahead and make these bags up. They'd be great for little gifts at a bridal shower. Probably not so much at a maternity shower though. Maybe not on that one, unless she was going to save it until after. But you can see just how fast it goes. And one thing I will say that I was going to do, and I absent-mindedly forgot to do, and that would be to iron my jeans first. These are in pretty good shape. They're pretty flat. They've been stored flat. So I'm not worried about any wrinkle translating through the applique. But if you had some wrinkled jeans, then I think I certainly would have ironed my backing fabric first. Whatever that fabric was. It could have been jeans, canvas, denim, whatever. I think I would have ironed that first. So at this point, you can see the pieces are in place. They are not fused, but the seam 2 is tacky enough that it will allow you to position them and reposition them as you want to. This is about the height of the bottle, so if I do the little ribbon right at the top, I should just be catching a little bit of the flower, which should be fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and mist this from the top, and then I'm going to use my Teflon pressing sheet and iron it. I just misted it, and now I'm going to overlay my Teflon pressing sheet. I just like to do this for a few reasons. One reason mostly is because I'm lazy. And when I'm ironing, sometimes I'm pushing the iron side to side. And if you do that with the applique shapes, you could, with the edge of the iron, catch the edge of the applique and scrunch it up, and then it would be underneath the iron, and you're fusing it in place scrunched up. And that is not the look that anybody's going for. So I always like to use the Teflon pressing sheet, which protects the edges of the applique. It also protects the edge of the iron, protects the sole plate of the iron, so that we don't have any fusible material escaping this bottom of the applique and getting adhered to the bottom of the iron. So it keeps our iron clean. It also prevents us from scorching any of the fabric by ironing too long. The length of time that you're going to have to fuse is really going to be dependent on your iron and the heat setting and other things. So you're going to have to test that. We do not top stitch over the edge of the iron, or I'm sorry, we don't top stitch over the edge of the applique. You could do that on some projects if you wanted. It's not something we do. If you fuse properly from the beginning, the fusible material is permanent. It's permanent even if it's washed and dried dozens of times. You may get a soft edge around the edge of the applique, but you would also get a soft edge around the edge of the applique if you top stitched it and you had the needle perforating those edges with a buttonhole stitch or a zigzag stitch or a satin stitch. You could still get the same kind of effect on the edges of the applique. We want to take our time and fuse this properly. The heat of the iron has to go through the Teflon pressing sheet, through all of the layers of the applique, and in this piece it's a 3-piece component, so it has to transfer through all 3 of those. And if you really wanted to be sure, you could turn this inside out again and iron it from the back, just to double check that you have fused properly. Now this is not going to get any stitching at all, so you're not going to see any residue on a needle. But if you do get a residue on your needle, it's an indication that you haven't fused properly and the all of the fusible material was not activated in the process. So really, that is it. We have this beautiful applique shape. It's a Bohemian Chic Daisies. This is permanently fused now onto this denim bag that we've made out of cut off part of jeans. Perhaps somebody made a pair of shorts, and this is all ready to go. So I'm just going to let that cool for a second, and then I'm going to go upstairs and see if I can find a ribbon that might be appropriate to use as the tie for the top. Do any of you have that funny drawer that's full of odds and ends of pieces of ribbon, grosgrain ribbon? I happen to save these when I get a box or a package and somebody's nicely wrapped up something, and what I'll do is just take them and iron them to get the creases out and throw them in the drawer. And I think this is going to work pretty nicely for my little wine gift bag. Now I just have to decide which one I want to give away. I have the apple pie and the peach pie. And peach really sounds like summer, but I suppose apple does as well. And you can scrunch this down a little bit, or not, and wrap the ribbon around there. Ooh, it's slippery. And there you have it. A very simple, easy to do project. We're recycling the legs off of our summer short jeans that we've cut the legs off of. It makes a great gift for somebody if you're going to, let's see, housewarming, bridal shower, could be a summer barbecue. This would be a really great gift for that. It would also be a fun project that you could do with a group of your friends. Just have some of the jeans ready. You might even want to do the sewing part of it if you didn't have a sewing machine set up or didn't want to do that part, but have some of the applique packages ready so you could just fuse these. You saw how quick it was. It only took a few minutes, and I was actually, going a little bit slow. So a really great project for, older adults. Probably not so much for the kids, unless you were using this for some kind of non-alcoholic cider or punch something like that. Anyway, I wanted to thank you for stopping by today. We always appreciate it when you have lovely comments for us, and it's nice also, just as a boost to my ego a little bit, if you subscribe or like a video. Doesn't happen all that often, but every once in a while it's nice. And thanks for stopping by today, and we'll see you again next time here in the Urban Elements / Applique Elements studio.